If you guys are interested in being a member, then click the join button down below to check out the available perks. The first tier is only $1. Thank you to those of you who choose to join. What's up mod squad, welcome to another Division 2 build breakdown video. Before we get into the video, if you're already subscribed to me, then don't forget to smash that like button, as it really helps push our videos into the recommended section, which in turn helps the channel grow. Interaction is a big part of what helps us in the YouTube algorithm, and the extra support is very much appreciated. In today's video, I'll showcase an easy to make DPS build for those of you who are returning to the game. This build will be easy to farm for, put together, and isn't reliant on exotics. It provides a good amount of survivability and very high damage. Without added buffs from Vindictive or Finisher, you can hit 1 million crits to the head of NPCs and 800k crits to the body. With Finisher and Vindictive active or stacked together, you can hit 1.2 million to the head and 970k to the body. For those of you who have been away for a while, in TU15 we got the new gear set Heartbreaker, which is an assault rifle and LMG based gear set that provides not only high damage but high survivability as well, depending on how you build it. This gear set along with Hunter's Fury is what I'd highly recommend for those of you who are getting back into the game. This current version of the build is for those of you who like to sit back and use cover, but it can easily be changed into more of an up close run and gun build with an easy change of core attributes, going from red cores to blue cores. For those of you who are interested in more of a run and gun version of this build, I'll drop some links to those builds in the description and comment section below. Now once it comes to stacks with this build, keeping stacks with this build isn't too difficult once you get them up. To gain these stacks as fast as possible, I recommend using a shotgun, preferably the ACS-12. The reason for that is because there's 8 pellets in a single shot, which will allow you to gain max stacks a lot faster than if you were just using your assault rifle. This is evident in the gameplay. Max stacks will give you 50% bonus armor and 50% damage to pulsed enemies. Pulsing enemies is easy as it only requires a single headshot to pulse your enemies for 5 seconds. Or you can use the Banshee Pulse, which will also highlight them, and you gain this from the Gunner Specialization. The Gunner Specialization will boost DPS thanks to the added weapon handling and the 5% rate of fire boost on kill, and add survivability through 10% armor on kill. Speaking of armor, that reminds me of a tip that a lot of players never realized or just didn't know. If you knew about this, let me know in the comment section below. As many of you know, the Vigilance talent increases total weapon damage by 25%, and taking damage disables this buff for 4 seconds. Now what that talent doesn't tell you is that the disabling of the talent only applies when your base armor is damaged, that being your white bar of armor. If you have bonus armor and take damage, the Vigilance talent stays active, as you can see in the gameplay. Now thanks to the new Heartbreaker gear set allowing you to build bonus armor on pulsed enemies, it's very easy to keep your Vigilance talent active more often than not, making this a great replacement for the exotic memento backpack, which is what I'd normally suggest for best in slot when it comes to solo players. Moving on to the weapon that I'm using with today's build, this is one I've been using under wraps for a while now, which is the F2000 assault rifle. It's one of the top 5 best assault rifles in the game for DPS, and many in the community sleep on this weapon just because you miss out on one attachment. The F2000 assault rifle is no FAMAS, but it's a lot easier to handle and it is great for close and long range engagements. So if you're a player that struggles with recoil, even though this build is packed full of weapon handling, then this is the weapon for you. I highly recommend using this weapon as there's no big initial kit to it, and it makes hitting a headshot to gain your pulse super easy. This build is perfect for all heroic content, whether that's control points, bounties, the summit, and it's a great build for the new countdown game mode, which is where I recommend farming for new gear. This build can either be used solo or in a squad, and is a lot of fun to use. Now I've spoke a little bit about it and showcased some of what it's capable of, let's get into a quick build breakdown. Right guys, starting off with specialization, and we're using a gunner, what I believe to be one of the best specializations you could use with an LMG. One of the reasons is because this specialization adds to DPS as well as utility. Every third reload is 50% faster, which is pretty nice on an LMG seeing as they reload so slowly. We gain 10% armor on kill. We also gain the Banshee Pulse, which is a great skill for any run and gun build. Another reason it's good for an LMG build is if you are sitting in cover and enemies rush up on you, you can hit the Banshee Pulse and it's going to save you in that instance. Because we are using an LMG, we are going to burn through a lot of ammo, so it's nice to generate 10% of total ammo capacity every 60 seconds. Party members also recover 5%. One of my favourite parts of this specialization, the rate of fire increases by 5% on kill for 5 seconds. Having an LMG and multiple enemies in front of you, you could just chain this continuously and constantly have that 5% extra RPM. And another great thing about this specialization, 10% weapon handling while not moving, need to be motionless for 1 second. So if you are sitting in cover, you'll gain extra 10% on top of the 15% you already get from the Heartbreaker gear set. And lastly, you get the large pouch, bigger than standard pouch, that fits on any belt fed weapon, so you'll get an extra 50 in the mag. Overall, I think this is a great specialization for an LMG build. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And with that said, let's get into the build breakdown. Starting off with our primary weapon, which is the F2000 Assault Rifle, one that I've never put in a video before and one that I've been using under wraps for a little while now. A friend of mine put me onto this weapon and I've been loving it ever since then. It has a pretty decent base damage, 850 RPM, which gets boosted by the gun specialization, and 50 in the magazine. When it comes to the talent, we're going to be using Flatline as we're pulsing enemies, so amplifies weapon damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. After 3 kills, applies a pulse to the next enemy you hit. Looking at the attachments, we have 5% crit chance on the scope. This also allows you to zoom in. As you can see, it's a C79 scope, so we'll be able to zoom in for those long range kills. Moving on to the muzzle brake, we have 5% critical hit chance, and then the magazine finally gives us the extra 20 rounds. Moving on to our secondary weapon, it is the ACS-12. This is going to help you gain your stacks a lot faster with the Heartbreaker gear set. We have 5% weapon handling on the reflex sight, the grip gives you 10% accuracy, and the talent we're using on this weapon is the Vindictive talent. Killing an enemy with a status effect applied grants you and your allies within 15 meters 15% critical hit chance and 15% critical hit damage for 20 seconds. Moving on to the sidearm, we have the Orbit pistol. We're mainly running this because we get the perfect finisher talent. Swapping from this weapon within 10 seconds of killing an enemy grants 35% critical hit chance and 40% critical hit damage for 15 seconds. Moving on to the gear pieces now, guys, we have the Coyote's Mask. Now, I said this build isn't reliant on exotic pieces, which it is not. So if you do not have the Coyote's Mask, then I highly suggest using a Grupo Sombra mask. Just like this, 15% weapon handling, 6% crit chance and 12% critical hit damage. Going back to the Coyote's Mask though, as you can see, we still get all those stats, 50% weapon damage, 6% crit chance, 12% critical hit damage, and then 12% critical hit damage via a mod. We gain an extra 25% critical hit damage if enemies are in 0 to 15 meters. 15 to 25, 10% critical hit damage and 10% critical hit chance. 25 meters plus 25% critical hit chance. Most of your engagements are going to be between 0 and 25 meters. Some of you may not want to use this exotic mask and feel that the Grupo mask will give you more consistent damage over range. Moving on to the chest piece now, we have the Heartbreaker chest piece. Heartbreaker gives us 15% assault rifle damage, 15% LMG damage, 15% weapon handling, and the 4-piece gives us Heartstopper. Headshots apply a pulse for 5 seconds. A lot of players seem to overlook this and forget that it applies a pulse if you hit a headshot. I always get asked, how are you pulsing your enemies? You don't have to link laser pointer, or you're not using a pulse as a skill. Well, you just hit a headshot. It just goes to show how many people skip over the descriptions on these gear sets. Weapon hits on pulsed enemies add a stack of plus 1% bonus armor and 1% damage to pulsed enemies, up to a max of 50 stacks. 2 stacks are lost each second. Looking at the attributes, we have 170k armor, 6% crit chance and 12% critical hit damage. We have the max BPM talent, which increases max stacks from Heartstopper from 50 to 100. Moving on to our holster, we have 15% weapon damage and 10.6% critical hit damage. The knee pads are Heartbreaker knee pads, 15% weapon damage and 12% critical hit damage. The gloves, Heartbreaker gloves, 15% weapon damage and 6% crit chance. And finally, the backpack, which is a Seska backpack, giving us 10% critical hit chance. We have 50% weapon damage, 6% crit chance, 12% critical hit damage, and then 12% critical hit damage via a mod. And we have the Vigilance talent, guys, which we went over earlier in the build. Increases total weapon damage by 25%, taking that damage disables the buff for 4 seconds. So a overall pretty easy build to make. Gear set builds are very strong. They're super easy to make because you only have one mine attribute. What I'd suggest for most of you guys is farm for the mine attribute, so there you could change the core attribute, because just like I said earlier, if this build is too squishy for you and you don't want to play from cover and you want more of a run and gun build, you just add blue cores to this build and you'll be way tankier once you stack up on your bonus armor. Moving on to the skills, we have the shield. Mainly using the shield because we don't have much armor, and if we want to move out of cover from one area to the next, the shield is a great help. 4.9% shield health on that mod, we have 4.6% shield health on that mod, and then finally a 5% damage bonus mod, which doesn't apply because we are not using the firewall specialization. Moving on to one of my favorite skills in the game is the Banshee Pulse. We have 15% radius, and then we have 15% effect duration, and the purpose of this skill is to stun multiple enemies and put them under a status effect so that you can gain your stacks easy at close proximity, and also gain the Vindictive talent, which is on your shotgun. So not only will you put a status effect on them, gain your stacks, you'll also gain extra damage. That is pretty much it for the build, guys. We're going to move on to the stat sheet. I'm not going to talk through it. If you haven't already, don't forget to smash that like button, help us hit that 500 like goal that we never miss here on the channel. I appreciate all the support as always. I look forward to talking to you guys in the comment section. And with that said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, Mob Squad. What's up mod squad, welcome to another Division 2 build breakdown video. Before we get into the video, if you're already subscribed to me, then don't forget to smash that like button, as it really helps push our videos into the recommended section, which in turn helps your channel grow. Interaction is a big part of what helps us in the YouTube algorithm, and the extra support is very much appreciated. So help us reach that 500 like goal that we never miss here on the channel, and share this video to help other agents. In today's video, we look at my TU 18.1 St. Elmo's Engine Striker DPS build. Normally, I like to make builds strictly for solo players and make them in a way where there's a balance of damage and survivability. But with today's build, it's all about damage and killing as fast as possible. This build can be used for both solo and squad play, but I will warn you it lacks survivability. So if you play solo, you will have to adopt the cover based shooter aspect to the game and pick your positioning well. Like I stated at the start, this build will be paired with a new exotic assault rifle, which we got with a Year 5 Season 1 update. The St. Elmo's Engine is pretty much a souped up M4 that looks like a Oversea and has OP attachments that pair nicely with the Striker's gear set. As we know, Striker's 3-piece gives us a boost in rate of fire of 15%, taking St. Elmo's base RPM of 850 to 978. This will further be boosted by another 5% on kill thanks to the gunner specialization. Striker's 2-piece also gives us 15% weapon handling. Combine this with the St. Elmo's 20% it gains from its underbarrel attachment, and we have 35% weapon handling. On top of this, you can also gain another 10% thanks to the gun specialization if you are motionless for 1 second, which makes this assault rifle an absolute laser beam. This therefore makes it super easy for you to hit your shots, meaning you can make the most out of this build's damage potential. With all the weapon damage from Striker, 186% critical hit damage, and at full stacks you can hit 1 million plus crits to the head of NPCs and 850k crits to the body. If you add the stacking of Vindictive and Finisher, you hit a total of 241% critical hit damage, allowing you to hit for 1.2 million to the head and 1 million plus to the body. These are just solo numbers, so if you play in a squad, these damage numbers will be significantly higher thanks to the team buffs. When it comes to the little survivability this build has, we get it from the gunner specialization, which is the 10% armor on kill. Another way you could gain survivability is switching out Vindictive on your ACS 12 shotgun for preservation, or you could use a fixer drone. Killing an enemy repairs 10% of your armor over 10 seconds, and headshot kills improve that repair by an additional 10%. And that is pretty much it when it comes to survivability. This build heavily relies on your positioning, situational awareness. Also, having good knowledge of spawn points can really help. And as you can see by the gameplay throughout the video, it's enough to get us through heroic with 4 directives on. This build is perfect for all heroic content, solo and squad play, whether that's control points, bounties, the summit or countdown, and is even capable of tackling legendary summit and missions. Now we spoke a little bit about the build and I showcased some of what it's capable of. Let's get into a quick build breakdown. Right guys, starting off with a primary weapon, we have our St. Elmo's Engine, 20% critical hit damage on the scope, 20% weapon handling on the grip, 20% crit chance on the muzzle, and the magazine gives us an extra 30 rounds, allowing us to have a 70 round mag. The third attribute is roll for damage to targets out of cover for that multiplicative damage, and then we have the talent, which is shooting an enemy with this weapon will give you 1 stack. At 100 stacks, the next magazine will be filled with shock ammo. Moving on to our secondary, we have the ACS 12, we have 5% crit chance on the scope and 5% crit chance on the laser pointer. Looking at the talent, we have Vindictive. Killing an enemy with a status effect applied grants you and your allies within 50 meters 15% critical hit chance and 15% critical hit damage for 20 seconds. So a nice buff to give to you and your teammates. Now if you're looking to have more survivability, like I mentioned earlier in the video, you can roll this out for preservation, which will give you repaired armor over time. Moving on to the gear pieces now, where the exotic coyote's mask, 15% weapon handling, 6% crit chance, 12% crit damage, and then 12% crit damage via a mod. Moving on to our chest piece, we have a Fenris chest piece giving us 10% assault rifle damage. Now if you don't have a Fenris, you can switch this out for a Grupo or a Seska. We have 15% weapon damage, 6% crit chance, 12% crit damage, and then 12% crit damage via a mod. And the talent of course is Obliterate. Critical hits increases total weapon damage by 1% for 5 seconds, stacks up to 25 times. Onto our holster, we have the Striker's holster giving us 15% weapon damage and 6% crit chance. Our knee pads give us 15% weapon damage and 12% critical hit damage. Our Striker gloves give us 15% weapon damage and 12% critical hit damage. And then finally, the Striker backpack gives us 15% weapon damage, 12% critical hit damage, and then 12% critical damage via a mod. And then we gain the talent, Risk Management, increases total weapon damage gained per stack of Striker's Gamble from 0.65% to 1%. Moving on to the skills, we have the Crusader Shield. You're going to have to use this for extra survivability, seeing as we have such a low amount of armor. Looking at the mods on this, we have 4.9% shield health, 4.6% shield health, and then 5% damage bonus, which doesn't apply because we are not using the firewall specialization. Moving on to our second skill is the Banshee Pulse. This is what you're going to use to proc Vindictive on your shotgun. 15% radius, 15% effect duration. These are specialized mods you get from the specialization itself. And that is pretty much it for the build, guys. We're going to move on to the stat sheet. I'm not going to talk through it. As you can see, 48% critical hit chance, 161% critical hit damage at base. You gain all that crit chance back and more crit damage from Vindictive, Finisher, and a Coyote's Mask. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to comment down below. Let me know what your opinion is on this build, whether you like it or not. If you haven't already, smash that like button to help us grow. And with that said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, Mob Squad.
Hostile detected. Agent in need of backup. Detected. Incoming hostiles detected.